Now we're going to shoot one of the more evil of all the sacred cows. Evil for most people. Get out of debt. You know, a lot of people are saying, cut up your credit cards. I think that's really ridiculous because a credit card is not the problem. In fact, I love my credit cards. I don't know how anybody could get along today without a credit card. But the credit card isn't the problem. It's lack of financial education is the problem.
The entire currency supply, all of the dollars in existence, require debt. You can't have a dollar without debt. A dollar is just an IOU. It's borrowed into existence either by the government creating a bond which promises to pay interest, you know, you've got to pay out of future taxes, or people create currency by taking out a loan at the bank, fractional reserve lending. Every month there's a payment due on those dollars that you created.
Right, and this credit card is a fast way of creating money because there's really no money in this card. See, let's say I go to the store, there's no money in it, and I charge $100. Like magic, $100 is created and it flows into the economy. That's why debt is good. But when you abuse this, that's when we get in trouble. So I think, you know, Mr. Rodney here, you see the horror stories of bad debt, don't you?
Yeah, I've seen people walk into my office that make $150,000 a year, but they have $250,000 in credit card debt. You know, let's face it, we live in a credit society, and you do have to have credit. And we have to learn how to survive and thrive in our credit economy that we are. But, you know, people are walking in, and they have this bad debt, and they're asking, what do we do with it? Well, number one, you try to pay off the bad debt so you can invest in good debt, which would be real estate.
And we love debt, don't we?
Yeah, we have a lot of debt. Our real estate that we own is all basically financed with our tenants. So that's what I consider to be good debt. So when we get real estate, you know, we get proper leverage, and it's paid by all the residents who live in all of our projects.
Well, and it's not just real estate. Business is the same way. I mean, we can have good debt in business as well, so that the business is paying. We have debt in our business. That's how we grow, and it's the cash flow from the business that's able to pay the debt, and the debt creates more cash flow.
Time out. Capital gains versus cash flow. See, in my opinion, 90% of the people invest for capital gains. That's why they say, well, my stock price went up or my house went up in value. That's capital gains. People like myself understand cash flow. In other words, I want a steady paycheck every single month. For example, my apartment house, every month it puts cash flow in my pocket. So if you want to be rich, you have to know the difference between capital gains and cash flow. Capital gains is technically gambling. You're hoping something will change. Cash flow is more guaranteed. I want that income every month. So very intelligent investors invest for both capital gains and cash flow. People say, I like real estate. I don't really like real estate. I just love debt because it's so easy to get a loan on real estate, right?
Well, here, I like the analogy that you use sometimes. Say if you put $1 million of cash into a mutual fund, you get whatever you get paid. But if you put $1 million of it in a down payment, you know, for some kind of a commercial project like we have, you actually buy a $5 million project.
Right.
So you're actually getting a $5 million asset with $1 million versus $1 million of mutual funds, and so you know the value you're creating on that real estate is on the $5 million, not the $1 million.
Well,
by using banks' leverage.
And the tax benefits that you get on the real estate isn't on the $1 million either. It's on the $5 million. So you not only increased leverage on your cash flow and on your growth in your asset, but you've also increased your leverage on your taxes.
Well, here's what we're doing. You know, we get these loans, the tenants are paying them off. That's the point. You know, like, so, you know, oftentimes people don't look at that.
And they're paying it off with after-tax dollars.
Yeah, they're moving into our places, they're paying our rent, we're taking that rent, and we're paying our mortgages, and our mortgages are getting paid down to zero.
Wait a minute. Ken's talking about these million-dollar deals. Let me tell you how I started. I'm somebody that knew absolutely nothing about money or financing or investing, and I began investing with a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, and this was back in 1989. The house cost me $45,000. I had to put down $5,000, of which I didn't have, and I had a mortgage or good debt of $40,000. And the reason it was good debt is because every month I would collect the rent, I would pay the expenses, I would pay my mortgage payment, and at the end of the month, I had a positive cash flow of $25. Now, It wasn't a lot, but it was a start. And from there I learned, and I did my next investment and my next investment. So it was good debt because that debt put money in my pocket every single month. Just if people understood that there is such a thing as good debt, because I don't know how many people I talk to, but when I talk about debt, oh man, debt is the dirtiest word in the world. That's the four-letter word, debt.
Because they're not educated,
no,
that's why.
And people are raised, and I was raised to get out of debt.
You see, this is the thing. You go to a bank, and the banker will sell you mutual funds. But ask them if they will loan you money to buy those mutual funds. The answer is no. But if we go in and we say, we want to buy real estate, oh, how much do you want?
It's because there's collateral.
Yes.
They actually have something physical. That's it.
Yeah, they'll sell you mutual funds, but they won't lend you money on mutual funds. That should tell you something. That should be a quick indicator. Dear God, what are you trying to tell me? You know, and the other part about it is, too, is that borrowed money for real estate, is that after tax, pre-tax, or no tax?
It's no tax. Anytime you're borrowing money, there's no tax on that money. You can use that cash. It's not taxable at all.
So if somebody wants to borrow $1 million or save $1 million, it'll probably take them $2 million to save the million because tax is going to take 50% of it.
Right.
But I just go straight in and borrow $1 million, which they give us. It's great money. I love my banker. I'm not saying bankers are bad. They're fabulous because they give us the money. All they want is their interest. We keep all the appreciation, depreciation, amortization. We keep all of it. They're the best partners of all. So I'm not anti-bank and I'm not anti-debt. I'm anti-lack of financial education because there's good debt and there's bad debt.
Your rich dad was a tough, tough, tough mentor. But, you know, I think some of the greatest mentors are tough because a really great mentor will push you to go beyond where you think you can go. And that's some of my best mentors. That's what they've done for me.
Yeah, and I didn't always listen to my rich dad. I still remember I did the real estate course, you know, and I went running out in Honolulu, and I found this condo, and it was for $64,000, and it didn't cash flow, so I went to see my rich dad, and I said, but it's going to go up in value, in other words, capital gains. He says, never buy anything that goes up. It must cash flow. And I said, no, it's going to go up. And we argued and argued and argued. And this is what he said to me. He says, if you start investing for capital gains, someday you will lose big time. So I let that condo go. I didn't pay $64,000. Today it's probably worth $300,000, but I learned a lesson from my coach, my rich dad. If I had gotten into the habit of buying for capital gains, either the price of stocks going up or real estate going up, I might have been wiped out in this crisis. So that's why a coach and a mentor keeps you onto your plan.
And helps you create and develop very, very good financial habits. Because if you have poor financial habits, as you're in your personal life, you're going to take those into your investment life. So one of the most important things is they will help you develop great financial habits.
Because when markets go up, greed sets in, and greed makes people stupid.